It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Christmas week Brouhaha. Christmas. Special set of circumstances tonight. We have a guest with us that's filling in for Dale. And he's been with us a couple times before. It's the one, the only Waynesboro legend, Charlie Britton, man. How you doing, Charlie? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Glad to be here today.
Well, I guess we can move on now. We'll start looking to the New Year. It's hard to believe another one's in the books.
5 days, we'll start a new year.
We've seen a few of them, haven't we?
We have. Hope we see some more.
They're piling up. Piling up.
Hope we see a few more.
Yeah, well, we wish everybody I hope you all had a good one and looking forward to a good new year. And I'm telling you, this is such a busy time for football lovers. Looking at Dale's, one thing, Dale may not be here with us, physically, but he's in spirit and in print. That's
right.
The thing about having an associate that puts everything in print. So we look at his sideline view, and he mentions the bowl games this week. I think starting tomorrow, there's 4 each day, but there's 3 today, I believe, Charlie. On the 26th, we've got Bowling Green in Minnesota, Texas State and Rice, and we've got Kansas and ULV. There's 3 today, and then there's 4. Have you seen any bowls yet?
I watched a few bowls. I would say I'm not very good at picking bowl games.
Well, I will attest to that. We have our little office thing going, but you're not so bad.
Well, it looks like I'm out in last place. How bad as you get.
Yeah, but you're still in the hunt. I mean, you're not that far out, man. I mean, there's only like just milliseconds separating the top of the pack from you.
The bowl's really not that interesting right now to me. They'll get a little interesting when we get to the, our Southeastern Conference, our Southern teams. It seems more interesting to me because we know a little bit more about them than we do these other teams. Don't keep up with folks like Florida A&M. And no, I'm not down in them or anything. Fresno State,
we just don't know them.
We don't watch them. They come on at 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and I'm usually asleep. So,
yeah, me too.
Anyway,
me too.
We'll know a little bit more about these teams in the next few days. Hopefully.
Lots of things going on with the football, in the transfer portal, and we can't really. I mean, I think Dale might address this in here, but the recruiting that's been going on in the transfer portal, and they had an open recruiting date that closed out, since the last show, and we've had some commitments, we've had some signees. Charles, just give us a quick overview right there of anything you see that might jump out with us in terms of what it's looking like in the recruiting classes. I think Ole Miss had a pretty good, they don't, when they rank the recruiting classes, they don't include the transfer portal guys. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I think Ole Miss was probably down around 17 or 18. But when you throw the transfer, they had maybe the number 1 transfer class, right?
I think that's right.
So if you put those, I don't know if they bring those things together or not. But anyway,
on paper, they look pretty good. Some of the guys and kids they're bringing in, Walter Nolan, Texas A&M, number 1 transfer portal guy.
Number 1 in the whole portal.
Country.
And he's a defensive lineman.
Defensive lineman.
All right.
And you think back about defensive linemen, of course, you got to think about Alabama. They always have good defensive linemen. They control the line of scrimmage. They win a lot of football games. Yeah. So, if you're good up front on defense and offense, you're usually going to win. Well,
what the Rebels have done, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they signed the number 1 overall transfer portal guy who was a Nolan guy, and he is the number 1 player, regardless of position. He just happens to play on the defensive line. He can play inside and he can play on the edge. He's 6'5", 300. They also got the number 1 edge rusher and the number 3 edge rusher in the portal.
I think that's correct.
And they've gotten a linebacker from Arkansas, and maybe one from Tennessee as well.
That's correct.
So, I mean, they have really loaded up on the defensive side of the ball, and with the offensive folks coming back that we think are coming back, they're not saying much till after the bowl game. But the Rebels could be looking pretty good.
Looks good on paper.
Oh, well, right now, that's all we got. We see anything, I mean, how's Mississippi State doing?
Looks like ranking-wise, 10th in the SEC,
Okay.
27th nationally.
That ain't bad. And with Levy coming in, I mean, just right before, I mean, he had to hit the ground running.
Yeah, probably didn't have a real good chance. You got to build relationships, and you got to know coaches, and all that. It makes a difference when you know people. So
Yeah.
he has a little bit of history with Mississippi. He coached at Ole Miss for 2 or 3 years with Lane Kiffin, and so he knows the state a little bit. So that'll help him, and hopefully he'll do good.
Southern Miss, I think, had the number one recruiting class in the Sun Belt Conference.
I think that's correct, man. That's good for them. I hope Will gets it turned around. They really struggled this year. And how good are they going to be without Frank Gore Jr., I reckon?
Well, they're going to miss him. He's been there. I mean, I almost can't remember football before Frank Gore Jr. I mean, it's Southern. Seems like he's been there forever.
That's right, Sam.
But he's going to the draft, I think.
I believe he's declared for the draft.
Okay.
Hope he does good.
We wish him well. Well, I tell you what, Charlie, we've about time for our guest tonight, and Dale lined us up a good one, and we've had an interview. We're going to talk to her. Dale and I are Ruthie Bolton. You remember her?
I do. McLean, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
I do remember her.
Great basketball family. I know that she had. You're going to hear her talk about her sister and about her time, at Auburn and even playing in the Olympics and in the World Cup and all that the World Championships and all that kind of stuff. But Ruthie Bolton is going to be with us in just a minute. But we're going to take a break there from our sponsor, and then Dale and I will be with you tonight with Ruthie Bolton right after this break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Ruthie Bolton. Ruthie, we are so honored to have you tonight on our show, and I know our guests haven't heard from many Olympic gold medal winners, especially from Mississippi, so we are honored to have you on our show. And I would just start off with a general question for you. Just tell us when you started playing basketball, and tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Honored to be here. It's been just during these holidays, it's been great. I grew up in Mississippi, but I moved to California for about 25 years, and so I moved back to Mississippi about 3 years ago. And so, no matter how far I've traveled, it's honored to be a Mississippi native and excited what I've been able to do. And of course, you should know this, but I'm from a very small family of 12 girls and 8 boys.
Wow.
And 139 nieces and nephews. So I grew up as a PK kid, preacher's kid, so we lived in a very strict home, and my dad lived on principles, and he was tough. He didn't play the radio. He was,
wow.
He was very tough, but I'm thankful so much for the foundation growing up and climbing trees and jumping fences and doing all those things have prepared me for something bigger, prepared me to get prepared to play basketball and so and our high school team, we were actually a pretty good team. Everybody on our team was related except for 2, because my mom's sister had 18 kids and there were 20 of us, and then another sister had 12. So it was a lot of us, but we played basketball. We loved it. And listen, it was just we won 2 state championships really on just grit, hard work, and just love for the game. And so being able to use basketball use McLean in Mississippi, just where I started my career, and that prepared me for the next challenge to get ready to go to Auburn, get ready to stay at Auburn University. University of Auburn, my bad, University of Auburn. So really, to the people that are listening, it's not so much trying to download, my resume, but I really want people to know that, the gifts that, God give us, and sometimes things might not always might not always be easy, and we may all feel like we're in a rough situation, but really the Bible said our gifts will make room for us. And so my gift of basketball has made room for me to travel the world and just all the challenges I've had to go through. And I just want to share this real quick. you know, my sister Mayola was a phenomenal basketball player, and she was a superstar, and she was highly recruited by pretty much every college in the country. Wanted her, and she deserved it. She was a phenomenal player, but I wasn't as talented as she was, and so I dealt with a lot of challenges. I dealt with a lot of, you know, insecurities, and am I good enough? I questioned myself, and I almost walked away from the game of basketball because I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough, and I had some insecurities in that area. But my father, you know, said these powerful words. You know, he just said, you know, three words, you got this. You know, I remember him saying, your talent might not be you might not be as talented as your sister, but you are a phenomenal basketball player, and you got to believe in yourself. You got to have faith. And so it really embodies faith over fear, what I went through. And so I took a chance to go to a school that said that I probably wouldn't play my junior, senior year, and that I probably would never make the soccer team, and very discouraging. But because of my dad encouraging me and pushing me, and you know, I believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. You know, I went on here and took a leap of faith, and I went to Auburn, and I didn't. Not only did I play my freshman year, I started my freshman year. So, and then the rest is history. So that being able to get over that fence, over that challenge, really prepared me for something amazing in life. So that's the reason why I've been able to do the things I've done and represent our country in Olympics, because I have a solid foundation. And to me, that is the most important thing about mind over matter, faith over fear, exceeding expectations. All those things is a part of my manifesto and what I've done and what I want to portray to the next generation.
Well, listen, you know, going back to your McLean days, y'all played in the Singing River Conference, because a lot of people in this area are familiar with Singing River Conference. Was that y'all's conference when you were in high school?
Yes, sir. I remember that very well. Yes.
So, you know, you were up here in Wayne County quite a bit, Buckatown and Claren beat 4, and of course, you know, I remember some of them old Greene County schools like Beaumont, and of course, you remember Perry County, New Augusta, you know.
Perry County, New Augusta. Yeah, New Augusta was pretty good. They actually upset us one of the years. I can't remember. They upset us. I remember I was talking to Coach Kimball. He was coaching. He coached Greene County now, but he was coaching New Augusta back then, and they upset us. I think we were 30-1 that year, and they were our only loss.
How about that? Well, listen. Were you that highly recruited coming out of McLean? I mean, it seems like it. You know, it's hard to get some of these Mississippi cities, but I'm wanting to know how these college recruiters found you in McLean, Mississippi.
Well, that's the thing. They found Mayola, and I happen to be Mayola's sister. So, and what they would do, they would entice my parents with, you know, the schools that won. Like, for example, Louisiana Tech said, you know, we would love to have Mayola, and then we could, you know, we would give both sisters a scholarship. That's what every school promised my parents. But when Mayola chose to go to Auburn, all these other schools reneged on their. None of them reached out to me, and they didn't show any interest in me. So, but Mayola, you know, with us winning state and the style that we won there, that's how we got recognition. But no, they really wanted Mayola, and Auburn just got me by default, pretty much. So that was an experience, and I had to prove myself. And I remember I took a bus ride from Hattiesburg, maybe from Hattiesburg to Auburn, which was about a 10-hour bus ride, and they flew my sister on a private jet to Auburn.
Oh, my goodness, that is a little. That's showing favoritism there, isn't it?
It was showing a little bit favoritism. I'm thinking like, man, 2 and 2 is not adding up to 4, you know.
So you had a chip on your shoulder, I assume, when you got there.
when I got there, you know, there was a saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But hey, you know what? If you only have one basket, you put every egg you got.
Load it up. Hey, you know what? I've heard that term my whole life, and I've never thought about it just like you explained it to me. If you got one basket, you better load it up.
You better load it up and hey, there's no plan B. You get to the point where it's A or nothing else. It's like, and so that was the situation that I was in, and that was the challenge that I faced, and it's a scary place.
It sure was.
It's also.
Yeah. Well, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And so but it was a challenge, and it was a scary place until my father just encouraged me. He said, "You got this. Stop believing you," and he gave me comfort, knowing no matter what happens, God wants you to use what He's giving you, and it may not look like what your sister has.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen. Did you and Mayola start over there together?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Mayola started. Yes.
Okay, so y'all were there together, and it was a great time for Auburn women's basketball. Y'all won like 3 SEC championships in a row, and went to the Final Four and finished runner-up a couple times. I mean, those were great times at Auburn University when y'all were there, weren't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were ranked the top 4 my whole 4 years there. And in 4 years, we won 199 games and just lost 13.
Wow.
In my 4 years there. So it was a really good time for us. And we had a phenomenal team. We had players like Vicky Orr, Carolyn Jones, we had about 5 Mississippians on that team.
You know, Carolyn Jones was an excellent ball player. I remember her playing at West Jones.
She was a great ball player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure was.
Yeah, she was.
All right, now, I know that one year, I think around 1991, so when would you have graduated from Auburn?
I graduated in 90.
Okay. Well, in 91, you got the Women's
Player of the Year?
Yeah, Female Player of the Year. Was that in the WNBA? Or for all?
No, that was with the national team.
Okay, the national team. Okay. Well, tell us what happened after Auburn University. Tell us about your career leading up to the Olympics.
Well, the interesting thing right after Auburn, I still, even after we won the SEC, we went to the Final Four, and so the thing that interested me the most or challenged me, or what I would say challenged me, what I was confused about, is that I thought I would get an invitation to the national crowd. And so I didn't get an invitation, even though we made it to the championship game. So, and that was discouraging too, because I felt like I was overlooked, and I felt like it was wrong that they didn't at least invite me. So, like my dad would say, if a door closed, get through a window. So my window was I could take my way to the trial.
I like your dad's quote there. Keep
He's
going.
got some great ones.
Hey, keep going. Doors closed, crawl through the window. I got you.
He ain't no quitter.
Door closed, get through the window. Yes, sir. And so I had to pay my way to go to trials. And so I paid my way to go, and it was 175 players. They only going to choose 25. And so after 3 days of intense training, I was one of those players that they chose that to move on to make one of the teams, and that was like, they couldn't believe it because they didn't really know who I was. They said, we don't remember seeing your name on the VIP list, and I said it wasn't, but they said you could not be denied. After your performance, day after day, you just got better and better. We had to say we had to admit that they made a mistake in not seeing me. So that set the stage for my national USA Olympic experience, because I played on a lot of teams before that, the World University Games, the Goodwill, the World Championship. So really in that, what I want people to see, and I want people to understand that it's not always just about talent. It's about mindset. It's about grit, and it's about just finding that knowing your why. There's a saying, when you know your why, you know your way. But when you lose your why, you lose your way. So understanding that why, that's the thing kept me in the game, kept me pushing, because it's hard at get time where you wonder, and you fighting a losing battle, because I felt like I had to keep proving myself so much at every crossroads. So, but to just believe and know my why, and I was hungry. I stayed hungry to be better. I stayed hungry, and so that's what helped me to really just stay in the game. And so after making that first team, it was all she wrote. I made that first team. I was like, hey, ain't no stopping me now. So I go on to play for 10 different national teams, 11 rather, 2 World Championships, 2 Olympics, goodwill. So all these different national teams are named different, but they all building up towards the Olympics. So in my 11 years, we won 10 golds and 1 bronze in all those years that I played. And that literally, it wasn't just talent, obviously. It was just determination. So that's really the message that I would want any athlete that would be listening. It's about determination, it's about work ethic, it's about faith and believing and stuff, but there has to be a lot of work behind it. You can want all you want, but you can dream, but if you don't put some work into it, it's not going to happen. And so just with my dreams and my aspirations, things that I wanted, I stayed hungry, and I also worked. I'm not afraid of hard work. There's a quote, and it's not my dad's quote. It said, we miss out on opportunities because they come in work clothes. So that was a quote. I'm not sure who it was by, but and also too, I want to add that military played a huge role. From college, I went through RTC and became a first lieutenant in the Army, and so doing that also helped me, stay focused and stay disciplined and really just going against the grain. And so that experience kept me. It helped me with a mindset for unity, teamwork, team morale. And it created leadership in me that I didn't have, because I was really quiet growing up. And my twin brother, they said he took all my words. And so, but military helped me, and all those little things that seemed like maybe didn't matter really played a huge role in my life. So, and so I travel the world and speak at elementary, high school, college. And I do businesses. I speak on corporate, on leadership, on teamwork, accountability. So anybody listening out there, hey, if you need me to speak to your elementary school, your high school, your college, corporate leadership, teamwork, all those things, I feel like most times people say, what is your niche? What is your audience? God He's made everybody my audience. And because my story, I feel like every chance I get, I want to tell it and share it, because I owe it to, everything that I owe it to share it. And that's why I love moving. I got my doctoral degree in humanitarian. And so I feel like God has given me the gift to help share my story, to move people forward to a different place in their life, a place where they see themselves becoming the best version of themselves. It really, that's what all this basketball has done. It's been a foundation to help the next generation from a child to an adult. So, and I want to do that, and that's really, so I need Mississippi to come alongside me, and I need let us move forward and help move people forward. And so we all got to sit at the table. We all on the same team. And so I know that I want to make a difference. And all the things I've done, the accolades, the gold medals, Hall of Fame trophies, the stars on the ground, none of those things mean nothing if I can't help empower someone or help move someone forward. That is the main purpose. And Luke 12:48 says, to whom much is given, much is required. Mm-hmm. So everything that I've been given has been from God and been from the heavens above, and I owe it to the next generation. I owe it to the world. And my is to serve. And service above self. That's what embodies who I am. It's my manifesto is service above self. So those are things that are, and those things, to me, that's more important to me than actually playing the game. I played the game, loved it, but really now to be able to be impactful and be an ambassador for Christ is really the most important thing in my life right now.
Beautiful.
Hey, listen, reflecting back on your basketball career, what would you say, maybe if you can do it? I mean, you've got so many things. What would have been your most thrilling moment in basketball from the time you were in high school all the way till you completed your WNBA career?
Well, really, I would say, there was a lot of good moments in my high school experience. We won state back-to-back. The second year that we won, and my sister Mayola, she was at Auburn already, and that year I was a senior, and it was just like, hey, you know what? We're missing our most important player. And I remember my coach. He didn't say much, Coach Bird, but he said, "Are y'all just gonna make an excuse to not win because Mayola not here? Y'all just gonna settle like he just made it to the state?" And I remember we were 10 points down, like with 5 minutes left, and he pointed at the trophy. He said, you all gonna let them take that from you. And he looked at me and he said, "Ruthie, you got to step up." And so I went into drive mode and really couldn't even shoot. I had a bad shot and a bad Jerry curl in high school, and so, but I had determination and grit and tenacity. And so we won. So that was the most important moment in high school for me. But I would say if I had to sum up the whole career, it would probably be in the '96 Olympics when there was so much at stake in Atlanta. And my coach told us, she said, "Listen, the whole year we were together, every day, we were thinking about the goal." She said, at any moment you want to settle, and you said you can settle for silver or bronze, let us know and we'll see you home. One-way ticket, no love lost. But anybody in this gym, anybody that step foot on this court, we're thinking about gold, because if anything less than gold, we fail. That's just the bottom line. So we got that embedded in our head, in our hearts, in our soul, and our just every part of us. So anyway, so when we got to Atlanta, I had a job to defend a girl that was averaging about 30 points. And listen, she was tough. She was probably one of the top players in the country easy. And so my job was to defend her. And my coach said in '96, he said, "We're 59-0. We got one more game to show the world that we are number one." She said, "So you tonight and tomorrow you got to defend this girl named Paula. If she, not Paula, yes. If she go to the bathroom, you go with her." She said, "You got to get in her grill. You got to get in her grill. You can tell what toothpaste she used to brush her teeth with." And so, man, listen, I had my work cut out for me, but she said, "I would not ask this of you if I didn't think you were ready."
Yeah.
She said, "You are ready. You have prepared yourself, and you've shown it over this last year." And so, sure enough, hey, I went out there. Man, listen, I had a look on my face. I was so focused. And she was averaging about 30 points a game. I'm going to ask you all, how many points do you think she had when I got done with her?
Oh, let's go 12.
You said 12, okay?
Dale?
I'll say 31.
Oh, whoa.
I tell you what. When I see you, you owe me 30 push-ups. You owe me 31 push-ups. Listen, I'll charge your head and not your heart. But listen, she was scoreless for a long time. She finally hit one shot, and I think she ended up with 6 for the whole game.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was on her like white on rice.
Lockdown.
And matter of fact, she was using Colgate. And I was all
Now, you know I answered just to get you upset.
Oh, you know what? Hey, listen. You showed me. You got my blood boiling over here. you got me hot.
There you go.
Listen, Ruthie, this is Marshall. I want to tell you something. We're out of time, but you are not only a state treasure, but you're a national treasure, and we appreciate your time so much. And thank you for your stance, for all the things you stand for, and the way you present them. You're a true blessing. Thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you so much.
Hold on just a minute. Right now, Dale and I are going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back with tonight's final segment of the Brouhaha right after this commercial.
Fill Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's final segment. We sure did enjoy Ruthie, and I'm telling you, she is I think I told her, I don't know if it was off the air or on the air, but she is really a state treasure and a national treasure. I mean, what a blessing it was talking to her. Her passion for life and for the game is just, well, you don't get that good by chance. I mean, you got to have the ability and you work for it.
You think about Ruthie Bolton, where she come from, McLean, Mississippi, and I know probably a lot of listeners out there been through McLean, Mississippi, a little small town, and produced two or three good basketball players in that family. Not only her, she had a couple of sisters that were good. And when I think about her, you think about she went to Auburn, she won a gold medal, and she had like 18 or 19 brothers and sisters in her family.
Big family.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
And her dad was a preacher. And that's good stuff.
It's a
good
great
small
family
town.
story. She's strong in her faith, and I mean, that's Americana right there through and through. So proud of that, and that we can claim her as one of our own here in the great state of Mississippi. Let's turn our attention to the NFL for a minute, and it's getting playoff time. I never will forget playoffs. But anyway, I guess the Saints can be saying that again, but maybe not. Let's see. They still got a shot. Just a quick summary of where we are in the National Football Conference. We're going to talk about who's been eliminated, and they're sorting all the other stuff out now. But the Giants, 5-10, are illuminated and eliminated. The Washington Commanders, bless their heart, 4-11.
They should be eliminated for changing that name. Who knows the Washington Commanders? That's the Washington Redskins. Always will be to me.
Marvin Chapman loves the Commanders. Okay. He's a big Commanders fan. Arizona Cardinals are out, 3-12. The Carolina Panthers, poor old Bryce Young, he's finding what life outside Alabama's like. 2-13, they're out. Over to ASC, who's out, Charlie? Who's out? Who's been eliminated?
The famous New York Jets.
The Jets are out of there, son.
Tennessee Titans.
Man,
the Chargers,
fallen.
And the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
The great Patriots of 4-11. Wow.
I hear people talking about the roster at the Chargers and how good it's supposed to be, and how that Jim Harbaugh may be going out there after the playoffs. Have you heard that? I mean,
well, maybe he can take his khaki pants and go.
All righty. Since we're talking about that, we transitioned over there. Let's talk about the. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen this week, but the playoffs are coming up. January, the 1st and all.
That will be this coming Sunday.
That's right. So this will be before our next air. Let's look at Michigan. Who are they playing?
Some team from the Alabama.
Alabama.
The University of Alabama.
Okay, now, who you liking in that one? Who you liking that?
Well, as I told you a while ago, I picked these games. I'm 7 out of 18. That's not very good.
You got to finish strong, Charlie. A lot of games left.
How can you pick against Alabama?
I can't do it.
But by the experts, they are a 1-point underdog.
Yeah.
How do you figure that?
I don't know. I ain't from Vegas, but I tell you what, I think the Tide's going to be hard to handle. Now let's flip on down there to the other matchup.
Texas and Washington. I like Texas. Just because. I don't know why. They beat Alabama, so that's enough for me.
Texas and Alabama in the if they both make it, that's basically 2 SEC teams now. That'll be another time that the SEC's had, but not formally, but when it just as a matter of common sense. I mean, it is.
Everybody's picking Texas.
Yeah.
So, Texas Alabama rematch. I don't know. We'll see here in a few days.
Yeah.
Who you like?
I like Alabama to win it all. I really do. Here's a side point. I noticed where Florida State, the big brouhaha over them being left out and everything, which everybody knows where I stand on that. But their second string quarterback, who didn't play in the final season of the game because he was hurt too, now he has opted out. He's not going to play against Georgia. I can't say as I blame him. Do you? I guess, I don't know. He's transferring or something, and he's out. I don't really know.
Third team quarterback Florida State going against that Georgia defense, that's going to be hard.
It's going to be
tough.
hard, whether Georgia's first-string defense shows up or not.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't know. People talk about Florida State and Georgia. I'm going to tell you, Georgia's counting on playing for a national championship. I'm just telling you, they're not going to bring their best game to that table. Ain't gonna happen. I've watched Alabama play in these bowl games where they didn't make it. If it's different for these guys that play for championships all the time.
It happens.
It really does. I mean, and it's easy to get let down. So I don't think though Georgia could get down low enough for Florida State to beat them. I really don't.
Maybe Florida State will be so fired up that they're good on defense. They're really good on defense. So I don't know. You don't know about some of these bowl games, and players are opting out and
I remember
all the
when
stuff going on.
When Arkansas took a team down to the Orange Bowl, and they were playing. Oklahoma. They were playing, and they wound up, and they weren't supposed to beat them. And Lou Holtz was the coach, and he had benched their starting running back, and there was a guy running the ball. And I think his last name was Sales, and he set an Orange Bowl record that night. And I remember seeing him sideline. I said, "How many yards does he got?" He said, "Put him back in and let him get that record." And he let him get that record. And after the game, they said, "Coach, your team came out so fired up. How did you have them so fired up when they came on that field?" He said, "I told them that the last 11 out of the locker room had to start." I mean, that's Lou Holtz. I really like him.
I do too. And he said they like to tore the door down.
Well, Charlie, it's about time. We're going to have to tear the door down on this radio station to get out of here. Or ain't no telling what Jamie may do to us if we don't get out of here on time. But listen, we thank you, Charlie, for manning up as you always do, stepping up to the plate and making the hits when you get the chance.
Hard to fill them shoes with Dale McKee, but we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to everybody. And right now, Charlie, it's come to that time to say
goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale. And we'll see everybody next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.